What's the program?
Hey, Scott. Thank you. Happy New Year. And Jamie, hello. How are you, my friend?
I am good. Welcome back from your vacay, and this is your
Yeah,
first webinar of the new year. So
it is. It is
here we
that.
are, rocking and rolling in the 2019.
Yeah. And we got a good crowd in here. I guess everybody after the holidays are ready to get in and hopefully get some good ideas, talk about trade ideas a little bit, talk about general market conditions, and hopefully we can convey some information to you to help you to become better traders. That's our goal here, and also to help you with the software. So hey, David, thank you. See a lot of regulars in here today. Also see a lot of new people. So we'll have hopefully everything for everybody. So let's get started. Before we do, let's go over our disclaimer here. Guys, you're going to be hearing Jamie and I talk about a lot of stocks, maybe some setups and some ideas, but nothing should be construed as investment advice. Okay, that's not our job here today. We hope to pass along some insightful information, but once again, anything you hear or say is for educational purposes only. If you are seeking professional advice, seek out somebody with a license that they hang in their office where they are can legally do that. All right, but let's move on. And before we talk about our agenda for today, let's talk about the 5-star support, education, and training. Bear with us, you regulars. We'll try to breeze through this. Guys, we do have a very powerful software. You're going to find out when you use it. It becomes very intuitive if you just put a little time and effort into it. And we help you do that. We help you do that by offering you a trader's room that's open about 6.5 to 7 hours every day, where Barry not only navigates the market and makes trades, but he's also open to questions and helping people with the software. We do webinars at this same time slot, Monday through Thursday. It's usually a combination of Jamie, Steve, and myself, but we do throw at you Dan Merkin and Brad Williams. That's our CEO and CTO that you come in on Wednesday afternoon, and it's a great place for Q&A. It's a great place to see the bells and whistles that are coming down the pike. And we don't stop there, guys. Friday support session, and this is a scheduled 3-hour event starting at 11 a.m. Eastern time every Friday, where you guys can come in, and it's myself, Jamie, Steve, and sometimes Sean. We're in there, guys, and it's just open Q&A. Any question that you may have, come in, fire away. We'll show it to you on a screen and talk about it. Great place guys to learn more about trade ideas and about trading. All right, but we're not finished there, guys. When you get trade ideas, in other words, when you subscribe, okay, we have TI University waiting for you. Okay, this is a 4-part curriculum starting each Monday, where we start 101, and it goes through Thursday, and Jamie finishes up with 401. These are an hour and a half long. They're at 12 Eastern time, and yeah, it's just by the time you finish those 4 classes there, and you come to that Friday support session, you're going to have a real good idea of how to use the software to profit in the marketplace. All right, let's move on, guys. Interactive brokers. Okay, this is Brokerage Plus I want to talk about here. And this is a way for you to automate your own strategies, and coming sometimes in the near future here, guys, you're going to be able to also automate the Holly AI strategies as well. If you want more information about that, go to trade-ideas.com/beta, and hang on. Also at the end of this webinar, Scott will talk a little bit about it too. All right, the agenda for today, we're going to do a market recap. We've had a nice bounce in the market off lows, and then we're going to talk about now what are the possible scenarios setting up here for. We'll look at the probabilities and we always talk about being prepared. Well, we're going to prepare by going over the market recap, and then we're going to prepare later on using our trade ideas windows to help you be prepared for what may happen in the market in the coming days. Going to look at the global market watcher. We've done this in the past. We talked about this. I talked about that when the spies tried to make their new highs. Anyway, I'll save that I'm not going to go into it now. But anyway, we've talked about this before. I'm going to reintroduce it, and we're going to take a look at some of the world markets and how they're faring in this market. All right, let's prepare for a reversal soon. We're not saying that one is going to happen, but we are going to prepare for it. We're going to do it, and we're going to set some price alerts, and I'll share those price alerts with you. All right, let's back out of this, and let's pull up the market recap and take a look at what we have, guys. If I can grab this. There we go. Put it on the spiders here. Okay, so wow, what a nice bounce we have had in the spiders. All right, after let's call it about a 20% correction so far. A lot of people are saying it's the bottom. It's not I mean, it could be, and maybe we do see a V bottom. I have some doubts. Even if it is, I don't think it's going to be one of these ones that go up just like it came down over here. There's been a lot of damage made. Even though we're back through the 10 and 20 period, we are below the 50. We're below the 200, which are much bigger indicators on a direction of the market on a daily chart versus the smaller time frames. Not only that, we have a major level here. Some people will include, the wicks. It's up to the individual. You got a wick here, you got a wick here, you got a wick here, but we also have a lot of congestions right here where the bodies are. And you got some stuff there. So that's why sometimes, guys, when you are trying to maybe I shouldn't say pick a top, but maybe foreseeing where we're going to run into issues, you might want to use a general area and instead of trying to pick a spot. It's so hard to do that. I mean, you're going to get fooled if you do. In other words, there's a lot of people saying, oh boy, when we get these wicks right here, I'm fading this market and we're going to head south. I would rather prepare myself for a reversal than try to guess where we're going to stop and reverse. Even if we do, I'm not saying we're going to, but I'm saying we have come a long ways. We're probably getting overbought here, if not now, pretty soon. We got the 50 period coming down. I say there's been a lot of deterioration in the market, over the last several months. My belief is, it's not going to be just a straight up V correction, but could be wrong. I'm not one to guess, and that's why we're going to do this exercise at the end of this day that I think you guys will appreciate, and it's going to be something you can take with you and prepare yourself so you're not guessing at a top. You're going to let the price action tell you when it might be reversing and heading back down. I prefer, this is the area. I think, guys, if we do break through the 50 and this area at the same time, boy, we could be looking at a V-shaped recovery. Not to say we can't back and fill a little bit, kind of like we did right here, but after this major break of this area and then huge volume, obviously there was a bounce due at some, they say the best bull runs come in bear markets. So this doesn't surprise me at all, what we've seen after how far we've come down. But if we do get above this 50 period moving average and this area right there, well, it might be time to, start thinking of a possible, game plan as it being a V-shaped recovery. I don't see it in the cards personally, but that's just my guess. I'm not going to put my money where my mouth is. I'll let the price action dictates where I put my money, not me guessing on we're going to, whether it's a dead cat bounce or not. William says, yeah, don't forget the January effect. Yeah, January effect, all these things like January effect, sell-in may go away. I'm talking about.
Yeah, because hey, there's also
you throw all your money betting on these cliches. That's the time it doesn't happen, and you blow you up your account. You know what I'm saying?
Right, and of course, hey, the Santa Claus rally, the January effect. These are when the markets aren't doing what the markets are doing now. right?
Mm-hmm.
Because once again, let's not forget the markets haven't done this during the holidays in quite some time. So
Mm-hmm.
if the January effect doesn't show up, I wouldn't be surprised. But once again, as you said, Andy, I'm not going to place any bets on it.
No, no. And everybody knows there's outside forces that affect the market. I mean, it's something you just have to live with. I know people get tired of Fed speaking like they came out today and said they're not going to do anything for 6 months. And obviously that's going to juice the market in the short term, but don't, like I said, try just to focus on price action and not what you're hearing and what the market should do based on what the Fed is doing. Gosh, I wish they'd just
Because
stay out of it and let
hey,
markets be markets.
and what did the market do when he said we're not going to mess with things for six
Oh
months?
yeah, had a nice, very
You think that
nice
he's like,
bounce.
that's good, that's good.
Mhm.
But initially, the move was down.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. It's anyway. At some time it's probably going to come home to roost. But once again, if you're trying to play price action based upon what you're hearing, it's a losing proposition. You just got to have to focus on the price action. All right, Jamie, I think pretty much the same thing can be said about all markets right now. There's the Qs. Could probably have a date with that 50 tomorrow. Diamonds, kind of same thing, look very similar to the SPYs. IWM was oversold the most they've had, whereas the SPYs had about a 20% correction. Somebody's going to have to help me here. I don't feel like figuring this out, but gosh, what was that? Probably a 35% or something like that in the IWM. But nonetheless, what's much deeper than what we've seen in the Qs and the SPYs. So it doesn't surprise me that they're getting a hefty bounce here. But since here, can TI Pro users use the live trading chat? Yes, Joseph. Anybody can use the live trading room. That's free for everyone. Okay, you just have to register for it. All right, Jamie. Let's see. You have anything to add?
No, I mean,
No.
looking at the SPY, I mean, that close yesterday and the close we had today, maybe we do keep on going. Who knows? Tomorrow's
Mm-hmm.
Friday. If we were to go sideways for a little bit in that very narrow range that it looks like it's, could be bar number 2 of a sideways move, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't be surprised to see us go sideways for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And then again, wouldn't be surprised if we went ahead and popped on up, above that 250, 259. I mean, that's where the rubber meets the road right there, 260.
Yeah.
We get through there with vigor, well, then, hey, it could be the worst could be behind us. But if we get up there and keep bumping our head, we could go sideways for an undetermined amount of time. We'll just have to wait and see.
Exactly. And trying, like I said, trying to pick, there's a good chance we're going to get up to a level and we're going to revert back, reverse for maybe 2 or 3 days. Very good chance of that. But trying to guess where that's going to happen, it's very hard to do. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, our good buddy Steve says there's going to be a steel wall there. So, we'll see. Who knows? We might cycle all the way back down. You just don't know at this point.
No.
But we'll see.
All right, and we'll have more to say about this as we move into the world markets. I did add the SPYs to that global market watcher, which I should have been on a long time ago, but we'll take a look at that and have some more things to say for sure. But Jamie, not bad in Holly today. I was looking at 2.0 there at the end of the day, and I was like, wow, very impressive there.
Yeah, risk on on all the modules. It was not a bad day, and I've been very impressed, because during the holidays we had that during the downturn, a couple of rough cycles in there, right, as far as Holly performance, but just like any system, took a few days to adjust, and we've had some really good days. Monday was fantastic as well, so looks like things are working as they should.
Yeah. I thought this, and I'm sure you'll talk about it, but you see a lot of contrarian calls today from Holly on support, on support, on support, looking for a bounce. And then Holly 2.0, we look at all these quarterbacks. Okay, what that means is the stock is pulling back 25% from its high, looking at an intraday. Okay, so if a stock goes up 1%, okay, and it pulls back to where it's only up 70 or 0.75%, you would trigger something called a quarterback. So for those of you who do not know what that means, so yeah, I love to see that. It's the kind of stuff, and it worked out well today. Jamie will go over some more trades. I'll hit on. No, I'll let Jamie do it. I hate to steal his thunder here.
Not a problem, Andy, because there's no shortage of risk-ons to discuss today. I was just looking at that tab. Man.
Yeah.
Big between risk off and risk on there, buddy.
Oh yeah, and look at the WPC. I thought was just beautiful today. Look at that. Just there's your call right there. There's your trigger. Mm-hmm. No pain, and then whoops.
Oh yeah, that one was just steady as she goes all day. Mm-hmm. Until, that little jag down that you see there, that corresponds with the SPY downturn when Mr. Powell came out and went blah, 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 and that just goes to show that's a perfect example of interpretation of what is being said, right? Oh, bad. Oh no, it's good. But anyway, I'm not gonna beat that horse anymore. But I'm sure a lot of traders out there the same thing, because you might have had something good going on, and that kind of threw a kink in everything. But
yes,
that is the market. That's the market. But random. I mean, didn't we have Fed minutes yesterday?
Yeah, we did.
Right.
We did.
Right. So that was over, and then a guy just was like, decides he's gonna rattle off some stuff in the middle of the day. Anyway, that's all I have to say about
I can tell it irritates you about as much as it irritates me.
Like, is it trading hard enough, right?
Yeah.
And you got some wingnut out there spewing out comments that are actually good. And anyway, okay. I'm ready to do some risk on if you're ready, or do you want to go over a couple first and then pass?
No, go right. No, go right. I just wanted to point out that WDC. I just thought that was WPC. I should say that was a really nice one. But no, you're really proficient running the Holly engine. So.
Hey, and by the way, Stan, we did have trade of the week yesterday.
Or Tuesday.
Yes, I'm a day behind. Yesterday was Wednesday. That was Dan and Brad, but yes, Tuesday we did have trade of the week.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let me change it to where you can see my screen.
Okay.
And let me get rid of all my unicorns. There we go. All right, ladies and gents, welcome to my desktop here. You can see I've got all of the respective Holly blotters laid out here. The all trades blotter, which is the way I kind of like to view the data. Some people like to view only opens and closed, but I just like to see everything. And I can tell if the trade is still open by whether or not this field here is blank under exit reason. Save a little screen space, whatnot. Here's the one Andy was just pointing out, which, beautiful. Michael Noss and myself have been testing the Holly automation module. We were actually in this trade today, and we're pleased to see it going. So, risk on right here. What did we have? Risk off for Holly. She took 28 cents out of that thing, exited because the timed hold expired. So you might be thinking, well, what is the timed hold here? That one came from, let's see here, change segments real quick, on support. And Holly 1.0 had the biggest stacked deck today. You can see a nice little amount of shorts there. But on support right here, we can see each and every strategy, what the hold time the strategy is geared around. On support, 60 minutes right there. So stay in the trade for the full 60. These are 15-minute candles that you see here. So oops, I got on the wrong symbol there. It's like, okay, that doesn't look like what I was just looking at. Okay, so the shaded area right here corresponds with Holly's time in the trade, risk off. So she gets out about right here. And this is just another great example. We see this one all the time. We see Holly getting out. Just right on the cusp of this shaded area here, at a very opportunistic time, because check out the high print, which is this wick back here on the open. Draw a line straight across. We get into it here based on this nice statistical probability from on support of 64.8%. So that's what we have going for us initially, is that statistical probability. Making money in the trade, everything's working, yay, hunky-dory. We see Holly getting out, but once you get used to just sizing up, hey, this range break is just about to occur if it gets past this area right here. And sure enough, we can see that that's what happened. So when I see these types of setups, it doesn't make it very hard for me to do one of two different things. This one was very pristine, so wouldn't have been too hard of a call, which is what we did, to just go, we're staying in, right? We're getting the range break. We might get an extra push as it breaks out of this range and heads higher. Wasn't doing monster volume today, but doing pretty close to normal volume. But the bottom line is this: holding when Holly is getting out, that's risk on, right? Trying to make more than Holly did right here. And you can see, 98 cents in the spread there. So you can do actually three things. Until you get used to this methodology, you can peel out a half, keep that second half, set that second half for maybe a break-even stop, which never would have even come close to hitting. You would have made a lot more on the second lot and still made money on the first lot with Holly on the 28 cents. Or you could have stayed in the whole lot. And as you get more proficient at identifying these setups, you could even add it to your position right here as the second event unfolds, which was the range break, and really leveraged that position, right? So 3 different ways you can kind of go with it right there on risk on. Stay with your position, get out a half with Holly, set a break-even stop for the second lot, or actually leverage more to the position. And this is where the majority of the move came from, right? This one would be a good example right here, ABC. This one was quite irritating today too, but these things happen. Once we get stopped out, we monitor it and watch for a second or a third occurrence. Second one would have got you to here, and later in the day, thing went on up, did what it was supposed to. So not even that great of a trade around. A lot of the times they'll tease that stop one time and come right back through and hit that line again and go. But what I've noticed is we really have to have what we perceive to be up days that are, we're trending up and we've got some room on the chart to get our, to stretch our legs. And the closer we get back to this area here, the less room we have to run until we hit this little barrier here and see what happens. So just keep that in mind. If it's a strong up day and everything's working, a lot of the times these stop outs, we can even make an entry on a stop out, get a better price than Holly, and have it go. ABC, not really that type of play today. And the BBBY, not really either, because this one was a short. And, if you would have tried to make a re-entry here, it simply never got back down to the spot again. So it would have been a non-event. Now, let's see what else we have on the plate here for risk on. Let's take a look at 2.0. Now, this is the one, oh my goodness. Z-Lab here. Because Holly pulls the plug on it early, okay? So this one looks good, really good in retrospect. Holly gets in. She pulls the plug on profit save. And this is typical when we get this type of action here. So Holly makes the entry here, and all we do is go sideways. So the longer she's in a trade and it's not going in the direction that it's intended to, whether it's long or short, this could have easily been a short and done the same thing, and she probably would have reacted the same way. But she's like, okay, it's not working. I'm going to call my audible here, profit save, and flatted it. Well, she actually did a good job. Well, actually, no, I'm getting my stops and entry points confused here. But this one, it's a tough call because look, it never even, it got a little bit into the red here, but hey, a lot of positions do. Sometimes they go immediately, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they pass back and forth through this line all day. Never even got down to the stop area. So this one, same approach. We could have said, you know what? I'm not really sure what this one's going to do. Let's take a look at the daily. If it gets some steam to it, look how it just perfectly got up to this wick over here. It might even have more room in it if it goes in play tomorrow up to this level here. So this one might actually be one you just want to keep your eyes on for tomorrow. But the bottom line is this. If you went risk on with Holly on this one, you got paid in the end. Or, if you're uncertain, the best thing to do is do that half and half. I'm going to flat half with Holly. I'm going to stick to my original stop. And boy, this one really did get some legs at the end of the day. Seems like, every session there's one that really gets up in boogies. Today, we got a couple of different ones here. The Z-Lab on the long side. And boy, I'm not really sure how a negative 55 cents is a profit save, Andy. Well, she didn't get stopped out. That's why. So let's see here. Bond shorty. Okay, yeah. If this is the entry signal right here, Andy. Right here. So I'm assuming she covered right up here. Let's see. 17. Okay, am I seeing things right here? Entry price of 17.10, right? This is risk off right here.
Yeah, I think it's based upon the algorithm. I know they're planning on working on that, but it's based upon the algorithm that got it out. Even though it says profit save, I think it's still kind of based upon the reduced risk algorithm. Yeah, I've seen that, and I'm sure some of the regulars in here have seen it too several times, where we use the wrong terminology. Even though we're exiting the trade, you're right. That should be reduced risk because there was a loss.
Well, I've seen it happen frequently if it's like 2 cents. If it's a negative 2 cents or 5 cents, by the time server. But on this, it's easy to do. But on this one, I'm just trying to, because if the entry's here 17.10 and the top up here is 17.21, I think that's just a bad tick somehow, because if she covered here, that's not a 55-cent loser. There's only 9 cents there up to 23 cents. There's only, 14 cents in there? Anyway, we'll get to that. We'll get to that with the developers. But the bottom line is never a stop out. And if you decided to go risk on this one, look where we finished, right? You know what? I am losing my mind here.
Okay.
Because I forgot to adjust my setting back.
Oh, okay.
Now look. Hey, look, Jamie, it's magic. 11 cents. Okay. You know what? Right before the webinar, I was handling a help scout. The guy was saying this option right here, setting his dollars per trade, that it wasn't working. So I'll go in there, I'll verify. I'm like, it's working fine. Responded to the guy's email and said, send me a screenshot if you're seeing something different. But I forgot to set it back. That's why.
Oh,
Z-Lab now, okay, Z-Lab is still a very healthy 94 cents. But I was like, that's not $2. Or my chart. Okay, so I'm glad Jamie figured that out. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, all right. So now we're back on track. Okay. Well, sometimes we forget things, Sure. Times I go in there and change that when I'm trying to help somebody during the day.
Oh no, I know.
I simply forgot to change it back.
No problem. At least you caught it.
Yeah, I was like, these numbers are way too big. This is not right, because I was in these things today. I was like, number one, you were in them. There was none of these big rips. All right, so I thought I was losing my mind, but now we know. Okay, so just a nice, clean example of in the profit save, negative 11. Once again, profit save, negative 11, acceptable. IQ, wow, another one. Once again, Holly gets bored with the sideways movement, plugs out of it, and then check out what happens right after that. Also check out what was happening with this 10-period SMA here, right? Just nice and surfing that 10-period SMA. Man, I've really fallen in love with that 10-period SMA, Andy. And I have to give credit to Steve for that. 10-period on the 15-minute is really one of the more beneficial studies that I've ever looked at.
Oh yeah, we use that
Okay.
as a day trader. That was our bread and butter.
And then when you apply it to statistically weighted entries as well, well, you know, look, RYAAY from these uncertain days, number one, we all know that the gap ups and the gap downs affect performance of the future, and the bigger the gap, typically the bigger the variance that gets thrown in there. So it's no surprise to see, the less aggressive two modules fare the best today, and the more aggressive one be down or scratch, whatever you want to call that. But it's been performing quite nicely over the past couple of days, right? So it's good to see the variances here. One more example of some nice risk-on activity. Holly plugs out here, gets in the trade. It's just kind of, oh, she's up, she's down, she's up. Hey, a lot of humans make these types of decisions, right? Hey, I'm up. I just better take my loss and get out. Holly minimizes with a 12-cent loser, and all you had to do is do a little risk on. Once again, we got a nice little adherence to the 10-period SMA, and ended up could have taken out 20, 30, 40 cents at the top. So that's about all I got today as far as observations with Holly. I'm glad I figured out that little snafu, Andy. Anything to
Oh yeah.
add before I kick it back over?
No, you covered it very well, and it was a great day too. I mean, I know it's not a tough day when you have a gap down like this in rally, but and then with all the talk going on in the Fed with the Fed governors,
yeah, I think everybody would just be grateful if they would just, put a sock in it for a while and let the markets do what they're going to do. Because look, historically, when have you seen the Fed ratchet up interest rates? Yeah. Typically, when the market is screaming and at highs, right? Not when it's floundering and trying to figure out or become a bear market, right?
Yeah.
Common
I
sense
think
is
probably
not in
what you're
vogue these
seeing
days, Andy.
is they're seeing their hands tied right now because of this 10-year experiment we've had at zero interest rates worldwide, and I think they're backed into a corner. But we'll see. We'll see whatever happens with that. All right. Yeah. All right, guys. Let's pull up because this was really interesting. Let's see the Global Market Watcher. Global Market Watcher. Also have a layout called the Global Market Watcher, which has some other stuff in here. But let's take a look, guys, and this is what we're looking at. And I'm sure many of you people weren't here, but when the markets were back on this date in October 1st, let's just see how far we can go back here and put it on there. Time frame, use historical date so we can go back in time. And I doubt I'm not going to be able to go back that far, but let's see what we can do here. The 10th, we can go to the 10th. And that's probably like a half day or something. Let's try going to, let me put it on 3:00 p.m. That's the market close. And let's go to like a Thursday here. There we go. All right, guys. This is what all-time, basically on all-time highs. This was the world market back on that same time frame. Everything was, you can see the position in your range. Everything was near its lows for the year, and here we are at all-time highs, and it finally caught up with us. And look what happened. You didn't have any follow through. This market was very different. If I went back to this Global Market Watcher back to January, you would see all these world markets in the upper portion of their yearly range. But this, the astute traders were able to probably capitalize on this move we've seen in the SPYs over the last several months because of the conditions in the world market. Well, let's take a look and see if they have improved. The first thing I want to do is I want to go back because we've had a nice bounce here. Let's go back to this date right here, which is 11/3. No, sorry, 12/3, December 3rd. We're going to go back and take a look here. And we'll put it on December 3rd. Once again, market had a pretty good bounce. We weren't too far off 52-week highs right here. I mean, yeah, we bounced back nicely, but yet take a look at the world markets. Now, they weren't anywhere near lows, but still nothing like the SPYs were during this time. And I forgot to say this. Shoot. We're just gonna have to do it without the SPYs. I could add them real quick and see when they pop in there. Let me go ahead and do this. You guys can learn something about symbol list. Global ETFs. Okay, the SPY is in there. There they are. I'm sorry. So this is the SPYs, okay, and you can see these markets. Qatar has just been on a tear lately. Israel not doing bad at the end, but for the most part, you had 4 or 5, markets that were still above their 50% range during this time, and all the rest of them were still, pretty much near lows. A lot of your big ones, a lot of your Germany, France, United Kingdom, Italy, Spain. All right. So now let's take a look. Now that we've we stared at the abyss, and now got a nice bounce. Let's see what's happening in real time now and see if things are really changing that much. You've got an okay bounce, but for markets that have sold off, guys, I'm serious. We can take a look at some of these markets like, well, let's just look at some of these ones like Spain. This is from their high going back. Look at there. You're probably talking about, I'm just going to do these quickly in my head, probably about a 35% correction there. Italy, about the same thing. I could go through a lot of these and you're going to see the same thing over and over. Look, Germany down here, just still, another about a 35% correction there. SPYs has had about a 20% correction. Usually in a V market, you're going to see a lot bigger bounce in this. I mean, yeah, they've come nicely off their lows, but from where they've come, this is just really a blip. I mean, from here all the way down to here, and now they're running right into their 50. So meanwhile, the SPYs, which the other day, obviously, guys, they were near their 52-week low. As a matter of fact, I think they hit them at one time, probably back around December 23rd. I'm not going to go and pull it up, but we all know it was ugly everywhere. They've had a nice bounce now to about their mid-range when all the other ones are still kind of struggling. They've had a nice little bounce, but I'm not so convinced, they're in the strength in this market because, I mean, people can argue that, U.S. is the only way, safe place to invest money. That's why it's doing better. That's why it's having a bigger bounce. I don't know, man. I feel like the market needs to bounce as a global market. We'll see what happens. But what I want to do, I wanted to bring this up so we can prepare ourselves if the market does turn around. I'm not seeing nice bounces worldwide, but nothing to write home about. So let's prepare ourselves, guys, just in case. Let's take a look at the spiders here, and we talked about this area, okay, that we're going to be running into after a nice bounce. Once again, after the sell-off, this doesn't surprise me. What would surprise me if we just keep V-shaping and we're back up here at 280 in another couple of weeks. That would surprise me. I'm not saying it can't happen, but let's prepare ourselves just in case we get up to here and we run into this 50 moving average, and we want to be prepared for reversal, and we want to take advantage of some downsize price action, because what will happen is you will have a lot of the people who got long down here will start exiting, and then you'll have new shorts coming into the market, and you can't have an exaggerated move to the downside. So we want to be ready for that. So what are we going to do? Well, we talk about how you can take bullish topless alerts and you can reverse them. Well, I'm going to save some time. I reversed this one already, okay, and I've renamed it Bounce Below 50 Period SMA Bear Pro. Okay, I've talked about this before. We'll take a look at the configuration real quick. Come on. All right. We are looking, this is a top list, so there's no alert, okay? All we're looking at is filters. These are great for scanning, doing your homework at night. I'm looking for stocks. The key here is they're below their 50-period moving average, okay? But in the last 5 days, they've had a nice bounce, okay? And they're in the upper 25%. The price is at least 75% above the low end of this range. So if you're looking at a 5-day range, we know it's in the upper 25% of this range. So the stocks had a nice bounce off lows. But on the intraday, it showed weakness today. And the reason I know that is position in range, it's a max of 25%. So we know this closed today in the lower 25%, even though the market closed near highs, or basically right at highs. We know that these didn't close all that well. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take a look at the scan, and I have minimum shares 500,000. I'm going to open it up to get a few more in here. So I'm going to go back to my configuration, get a few more charts to look at, and I am going to put this on 300,000, see if we can get a few more. Yeah, we got a few more there, probably about a handful. All right, so let's just start going through these charts and see what we see, and we're going to prepare ourselves by setting price alerts. And then at the end, I'll share these price alerts with you. All right, here's one right here that keeps on, it's had a nice bounce, keeps on wicking above its 50 and closing down. You can see today it closed near the lows of its day. I'm not even familiar with this. Playa Hotels and Resorts. Okay, so I'm going to scroll through, see if we can find something better. I may come back to that one. Goldman Sachs. Okay, we know the financials guys have been hit hard this year. I forgot, Jamie. Isn't like Goldman Sachs at one time down about 45 or 35, 40%?
Let's see. Let's see what they topped out at real quick here. Looks
275.
Yeah, we'll call it 275. Yeah. Cratered all the way down to
150.
150.
Yeah, I think that's about huge. A 40. Yeah. Well, it's used. We don't need to figure it out. But okay, so let's take a look. Let's do this. All right. So it's not showing any strength. Didn't really show any strength today as the market goes. So this is showing relative weakness. So let's go ahead, zoom in here, and let's take the low from yesterday, and let's set an alert here. Create price alert. And this is a short, but since it's lower, and we're just going to go here at, let me find that number again, 174.91. So let's set it at 174.90. All right, and this is going to be a short. Make sure I did that right. That already triggered. Let's try that again. You know what? 174. Let's just ballpark these things. I don't have to have them to a penny, especially when I'm swing trading. There we go. All right, these aren't going to be to the penny, guys. I'm just going to give you an area. You can always adjust yours if you want to. I just don't have time to have these things going off as I'm. All right, there's one nice little tail there. That could be an interesting chart if it breaks this low right here. So let's go ahead and set this one right here at 1032. You guys will have to go mark these up too. I'm not putting anything. Interesting one there. Vector group. Already broke, but let's just go ahead and set one right there. Leg Mason, seeing some financials in here. This one's, that looks interesting too. Let's set it at yesterday's low. God, a lot of interesting charts in here, guys. So I'm gonna probably share a lot of these with you, and you, of course, be your own judge on which ones you want to take. Let's look for some bigger names now. That one, not real crazy about that one. That one hasn't really bounced up enough. That's interesting. A little pissant stock there. Let's just set it right at the 550 level. Anytime you're setting, okay, it already went off. Anytime you set a price alert below the number, it's going to be it's going to automatically set a short for you. If you set it above, it's going to automatically set a long. So if you are looking to buy pullbacks, you may need to make sure that you change it to a long. Bondage, that hadn't really bounced up enough. That really hadn't either. That's a pretty interesting one. If it breaks that 200 again. AEL, nah, that one's been going sideways. That one's had a nice move. We'll set it right at the low for today. Now, guys, as I'm doing this, okay, what may happen is we may go up another couple of days. So this is something that, and I'll share this alert with you, that if none of these trigger and we have a nice up move tomorrow and the spiders get closer to their 50-period moving average, maybe you want to come back and do this tomorrow or the next day. But it's good to prepare yourself, because what will happen, they'll come quick a lot of times. ADT, set it at today at that low. I'm getting pretty good at this. That doesn't do. That one's actually bounced up and above the 50. I'm going to leave that alone. That one doesn't look that bad. I was hoping to get a few more that trades. That one doesn't look that bad either. Yeah, that one I don't care for. All right, so we just gone through here, and you know, we created about where are my price alerts? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So what happens is these things are set pretty tight, and a lot of these may trigger, you know, tomorrow. And you know, I'm not saying to take them, but use your judgment. These are really good setups for possible shorts. Okay. The reason is they're in the lower portion of their, you know, 52-week range. They're below their 50-period moving average. They've bounced up and they're still below it, and they're showing signs of weakness. Even today, on a day that the market was, you know, finished, you know, up on the day, these didn't fare too well. They closed closer to lows. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and highlight all these, and I'm going to share them with you. Copy all, and I'm going to drop them in the chat. And for those of you guys who do not have trade ideas, what they're able to do is take these price alerts and copy them and load them to their cloud. So now they'll have a copy of the price alerts I just created.
Hey, Andy, while you're dropping links, we also had a request for the Global Market Watch scan.
Okay.
But I think you'll have to drop that list in there too. Is that right?
Well, first of all, I dropped that list in there. Okay, that's the price alerts, and now I'll go ahead and drop the bounce below 50 bear. I'll just go ahead and leave it at 300.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So let me go ahead and share this with you. I'll put it bounce below 50. All right. Here is the cloud link to the window, and then I'll grab the global market watcher.
Did you hear Barry talking about a new window that he was using today, Andy?
No, I missed that.
Okay. Yeah, so Brian, we don't know what that window might be, so the best way to get it is probably just to pop into the chat or the traders room tomorrow, and if it's one that he shares, I'm sure he'll be happy to give you the cloud link.
Sure he would. Let me just do this. Global Market Watcher, share, and copy all.
And David, I don't think there's a way to prevent the price alerts from triggering pre or post. Andy, I was just looking at the latest build. I don't see anything in there to say regular session only, but
No.
that might be in development already.
Yeah, for right now, what you have to do, if for any reason they trigger, you'll just have to reset them once the live markets, unless, of course, they're already, through your price alert, then it's just going to go off again. But, and there's also, guys, I will share with you, I'm going to drop these in here real quick, because to use that global market watcher, you have to create a symbol list. And I will share this with you. It's of all the global ETFs. And I actually added SPYs in there today so you can kind of compare. I'm going to also drop that inside the chat window, and you will have time to copy and paste those things to wherever you're going to paste them, because Scott will come in here in a little bit and walk us out. And you guys hang on. I know Scott's going to have a code for you, a coupon code for you, and talk to you about some more interesting stuff here going on at Trade Ideas. So we get all the questions answered, Jamie?
I believe we're caught up.
All right, let me get it on. All right, Scott, you want to come in here and escort them out?
Sure, let's just talk about a couple things on the way out. We released this book last year. It's 5 Ways to Win in a Post-BTFD Market, and it was a timely release. It's still relevant. So get your copy if you don't already have it. It's free. Just go to trade-ideas.com/ebook and put in your email address to get the download, and save that to your computer so you can reference it and learn from those tips to stay afloat when the market is very rocky. We have a podcast. There should be a new episode out tomorrow. It'll be the first new episode of the year, so that's our season 3. So go ahead and get ready for it by searching for Trade Ideas Podcast in your favorite podcast app. You should find it right there. Just click on subscribe. You can also download some of the more recent episodes that we released toward the end of the year, and there's a couple guest ones in there. Go ahead and check those out too. We've got a discount code for you that's good this month. Winter Studio, all caps. Use that to save 15% off any subscription or upgrade, the first installment, so 15% off the first month or year. The biggest savings, of course, are on the annual premium as far as that's concerned, and also for the upgrade to annual premium if you're on standard. Good chance to get into that. Thanks, everyone. Any questions, shoot them to info@trade-ideas.com. That's the best place. That's the address that goes directly into our help desk software and gets routed to the appropriate team member to help you out. You can also follow Jamie on Twitter @QuantBot. Steve Gomez is @TodayTrader. And our Facebook page is Trade Ideas Pro. Like us on Facebook to see updates in your feed and so you can share those with your friends. Thanks, everyone. We'll have a recording up later on tonight or tomorrow. Later on. Jamie, Andy?
Yes.
All right. Thanks a bunch.
Everybody. Joseph, regarding the UK, we will add foreign markets as demand. Right now, there's no plans for that, but if demand is there, we will definitely do it sometimes in the future, but nothing right now. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow in the Friday support session.
Yep, thanks.
See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.